Hi, friends. How are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Do you like my new background? I worked really hard on it. Thank you. My name is Bailey Sarian, and today's Monday, so we're going to talk about true crime while I do my makeup. New intro. No, I'm just kidding. But I do need a new intro, I feel like. I've been saying the same thing forever, huh? Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff, too, if you want. You don't have to. I'm here for you on Mondays. If you're ever curious to know what I'm using, I'll list it down below. But I need to talk to you about today's story because I went down such a freaking rabbit hole with this woman. During quarantine, everybody was talking about Sarah Boone. Remember? Sarah Boone, Sarah Boone, Sarah Boone, Sarah Boone. And it was everywhere. For some reason, I didn't go down that lane. I don't know. I just wasn't, I don't know. I just didn't get into the Sarah Boone. I was on something else. So finally, I saw that the Sarah Boone trial, her sentencing had come up and she was recently sentenced. Now, normally, I don't know if you've caught on, but when I do murder mystery makeup, I do like to wait and when the sentencing is done, that way we get closure and all the facts are out there and I'm not just spreading stuff I saw online. It's just, it's easier to just go straight to the source and get the story. Source being court documents is what I mean. Anyways, I'm rambling. So Sarah Boone, finally, I was like, okay, let me see what's up with this woman and why everyone was talking about her so much. And let me tell you, I get it now. I get why everyone was talking about her because she's absolutely bananas. Sorry, but she is. So let me tell you about Sarah Boone, huh? Let me take off my shoes and unbutton my pants so I can get comfortable. Side note. Has nothing to do with anything. But I don't know who I think I am. I think I'm like Britney circa 2006 maybe. And I bought some low-rise jeans. Biggest mistake I ever did. When I sit down, everything just folds over the buttons and the zippers. And my underwear is up my back. I'm just confused why I did this to myself and why I'm trying to fit no, Bailey. That's why you can't see the lower half of me because down here is a situation. I can't. Let's do some makeup. Sarah Boone and George Torres Jr., they had what you might call a passionate relationship, but not the happy, oh, we love each other. No, it was more a psychotic roller coaster, no breaks type of relationship. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So they met in Winter Park, Florida, and I guess they had met through mutual friends. At the time, things had moved quite quickly. So there's a lot to Miss Sarah Boone, okay? There's a lot to her story, but at this time when she moved in with George, she had an ongoing legal fight over her home situation. The place she had been living at was trying to remove her. I don't know. It was an ongoing legal dispute. And Sarah, she needed to find a new apartment ASAP. So when she met George, they started seeing each other and then quickly after they got an apartment together. So from the beginning, the relationship was on again, off again. Both of them, George and Sarah, they had a history of drinking heavily and fighting pretty violently. Now, police had been called to their home more than once. In 2018, they were both arrested for domestic violence. Sarah allegedly tried to strangle George, and George allegedly hit her. The charges ended up getting dropped when both of them refused to testify against each other. So Sarah and George were pretty toxic, and friends and family members, they tried to distance themselves from this couple, but it wasn't they could just completely cut themselves off, especially from Sarah. Well, no, from both of them, because they both had kids from a previous situation. Sarah, she actually was married, briefly, and she shared custody of her boy, and he would visit the apartment 4 times a week. Yeah, unfortunately, she shared custody with her child. Listen, I say unfortunately because based off what I read, allegedly, I don't know, it's a very toxic environment. And the two, George and Sarah, just seemed to be struggling with alcohol. They were fighting all the time, and both of them were having a hard time holding down a job. So for a kid, I just, that's why I'm oh, that sucks. You get it. Now, between all the fighting and whatnot and the drinking and all that stuff, you would just hope that they would, just end things, but they couldn't. And they didn't. They clung on to each other, just feeding off of their toxicity, cycling through fights, breakups, makeups, all that, allegedly, based off of police records. Now, up until the night of the crime, the two continued to live in the apartment together, along with Sarah's 2 Boston Terriers. Now, let's flash forward to February 23rd, 2020. Sarah, she's 42 at this point, and George, who is also 42, they were hanging out together at their apartment in Winter Park, Florida. According to Sarah, it was a good day. She and George, when they woke up, they cleaned the apartment. They did some like sweeping, mopping, laundry, dishes, blah, blah, blah. Because the next day, Sarah's son was coming. She had custody of him the next day. According to Sarah, at sometime around noon, the two of them went to Publix to buy a bottle of wine. Now, apparently, it was a Magnum wine. I know, which I learned about because I was like, what's that? I thought that was a condom. And it's not. Well, it is, but like Magnum wine is a wine. You guys are crazy, you winos. The Magnum is a wine bottle that contains the equivalent of 2 standard bottles of wine. So it holds 1.5 liters of wine, which is a lot. And it's a lot because Sarah and George, they were both pretty petite. They were like 5'2", 5'3", and around 100 pounds at the time. Both of them. George was like 110, barely. Sarah was like 100 and something. So they're petite, and that's a lot of wine. So once they got back to the apartment, they started drinking the wine. They're hanging outside on the porch. They're playing darts and just talking. And then in the afternoon, Sarah said that George went to Publix for like a second trip because they had run out of wine, and he went to go pick up more wine. He returned with another one of those jumbo wines. So they continued drinking, and Sarah said that, this time around they were painting, listening to music, and dancing with their dogs in the apartment. So not long after, I guess they had finished that second jumbo thing of wine. So they're pretty lit, okay? Sarah said that she was trying to entertain George. Like he seemed bored and like keep him in a good mood. And she said eventually they ran out of things to do. So they decided to play good old-fashioned hide and seek. Who doesn't like playing hide and seek, huh? According to Sarah, she's like, okay, yeah. So then we were playing hide and seek. And she said she went upstairs and she hid in the shower. And she was up there waiting for George to come and find her. And she was getting kind of irritated because like he wasn't finding her. So she went back downstairs and she saw that George was just like sitting there on the couch, not looking for her. She's like, this is not fun. So Sarah's back downstairs, and I guess they're still on the topic of hide and seek. So according to Sarah, she said that she thought it would be funny if George got into the suitcase that they had lying around and like zipped him in it. She's like, wouldn't that be hilarious? Oh my God. That's what she said they said. She said they said, wouldn't that be hilarious? The suitcase that just happened to be lying around in the living room was described as like a large hard shell suitcase. It was around 26 inches in size and was definitely large enough to like fit a person inside. According to Sarah, George, he was like, oh yeah, that's so funny. So he got into the suitcase and then he zipped it up. Sarah said that George willingly climbed in, stuffed himself in that suitcase, giggling like a little kid. And then Sarah said she got up and she zipped the suitcase closed. But she's like, I left a gap in the zipper, like so it wasn't closed all the way, and he could still stick 2 fingers out. So like he's not really like stuck in there. Sarah said after she zipped him up in the suitcase, she assumed that George could get out whenever he wanted because his fingers were sticking out and it wasn't closed all the way. So according to her, she was just sitting there laughing, ha ha ha. And then around 12 a.m., Sarah, got sleepy, as one does, and decided to go upstairs and go to bed. The thing is, she left George in the suitcase downstairs in the living room. The next morning, it's about 11 a.m., Sarah wakes up. She realizes she's alone. Where's George, So she said she had this moment where she's like, oh, he must still be downstairs or something. Like maybe he's still in the suitcase. So she goes downstairs. She sees that the suitcase is still there and he didn't seem to get out. So she unzips it and she saw that George was purplish and not breathing. Now, weird part, instead of calling the police, Sarah first called her ex-husband. Yeah. Now, some reports said that he came over to the house, and I think he did. But, like, I couldn't figure out their relationship. I don't really think, whatever. She calls her ex-husband. Now, he ends up telling her to call 911. So the paramedics arrived, and they got there within like 6 minutes of the phone call. But even that, it was too late. Like, by the time they got there, George was officially declared dead. So when police arrived to the scene, Sarah was like, oh my God, I thought he could get out. We were playing hide and seek. He. You know, she told him that whole story. And we have the body cam footage from when they showed up to Sarah's place. I watched like all of her, the court nonsense and everything, but I didn't see the body cam footage. So let's watch it really quick.
And I were putting a puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together, having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night. Okay. So then it's like, we decided to play hide and seek, right? Okay. So he gets in the suitcase. I fell asleep.
When did you do CPR?
This morning, when I found it.
Before you called?
Yes! So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still.
So you were playing and you zipped him up in?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay, you're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
I fell asleep. Please, may I have my Dr. Pepper? I am so cotton mouth right now.
Somebody else on that call to break and
it's on the counter.
I can't move anything from out of the house.
I need
right?
May I have some water? Please, I need water.
But
I need water really bad. Can I have a cigarette, please?
Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house.
It's on the back porch.
Nope.
Do you guys tell his family, like, today or after tomorrow?
We have to. It's the law.
They're going to think I killed him because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. I came across this when I was doing research for this story. They mentioned a blue-eyed white dragon. That's what Sarah was saying that the family had called her, but I couldn't find the source of like where that came from, and that's where it comes from, like in that body cam footage, Bailey. That's why you should watch it. But yeah, I guess that's forgive me for my ignorance here. Is it Digimon? Is Digimon the blue-eyed dragon guy? Is that what she's referencing? It doesn't matter. The point is, as you can tell from the body cam footage, Sarah is very animated. She's very like, and it's just like, she's okay, you know? I need a Dr. Pepper. And you're like, yeah, I don't, okay. I think someone's dead, ma'am. I don't think you need a Dr. Pepper right now. Dr. Pepper is good, but like, someone's dead. That was the police cam footage of when they arrived to the scene. As you could tell, she's very, So police then ask if Sarah's okay with them going through her phone, you know, to verify like the timeline that she had given, whatever. It shouldn't be a big deal. You guys are playing hide and seek, whatever, right? But listen, what they found was damning. Okay, damning. I couldn't think of another word besides damning. So police, they go through her phone. They found 2 haunting videos. They were recorded like 11 minutes apart on Sarah's cell phone the night of the situation. So the first video was taken at 10:20 p.m. on the night of February 23rd. So this video showed what seemed to be the living room, okay? And in the frame is the zipped suitcase lying face down on their dirty ass carpet. I was like, oh, maybe you should get a carpet cleaner. But that's not the point. As the video goes on, it's heartbreaking because you can hear George from the inside of the suitcase calling out over and over again. He's like, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. Like, it's just like, it's just eerie. It's quiet. She's filming. A couple of times he says, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. She's recording the whole thing, and then you can hear her laugh. She's laughing. Then she starts to taunt him. Mind you, again, this is all on camera. She's freaking filming it. She's like, oh, that's what you do when you choke me. That's on you. Mind you, there's a lot of drinking involved, so like her words are all slurred. She's like, that's on you for choking me. It's you. Messy. Okay, so she's taunting him. Sarah taunted George every time he called out to her. This is the first video. Then there's another video. Now it looks like the suitcase moved because now the suitcase is lying face up. It's still zipped and it still has George inside. And he's still calling out to her. But this time on the second video, it's like his calls were a little bit weaker. Okay, he's like, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's still saying, Sarah, I can't breathe. And she's laughing. He keeps saying it over and over and over again. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's really sad. It's really sad. And her being drunk, because again, she's filming and she's sloshed. She's like, that's what it's like when you cheat on me. That's what it's like when you tell me. And then she has this evil laugh. Then she finishes the recording with the fuck you. And you're like, well, that doesn't look good, girl. So it appears to investigators that this was no hide and seek situation or an accident. This seemed to be straight up torture. So what the hell, girl? You know, how could a simple game of hide and seek go so wrong? Sarah forgot how, like, first of all, how technology works, okay? Stupid ass. So she is being questioned by investigators, and they show Sarah the videos that they found on her phone. My favorite. I like to watch interrogation videos, and especially when they have, like, the evidence, right? They're like, oh, so it was, you just went to bed, like, not a big deal? And then they pull up the phone, and they're like, oh, interesting, because right here on the phone that you recorded, on your phone that you recorded, it says otherwise. I love watching those, you know, and then they're just like, they don't know what to say. Same with her. They pull up the video, they show it to her on the computer or whatever, and she stops them halfway through and she's like, look, I don't remember taking those videos. She pretty much tells them, like, it doesn't look good. It's a bad look. The video is a bad look. She's telling investigators that, like, it was just an accident. They were playing hide and seek. She thought he could get out. Like, she didn't kill him. You know, it really wasn't making sense to investigators. And then they showed her this footage, and that's when she gets very defensive, as most people do when they're, you know, being caught for murder. So I watched the interrogation footage, and of course, she has, once again, some interesting one-liners, this woman.
I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know.
Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
No.
it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. I excel at everything.
Any photos, videos that you remember doing on your?
Okay, it's not funny. I'm not laughing at her. Well, I kind of am, because during interrogation, you know, she was like, I don't think you know who I am. I'm a straight A student. I excel at everything I do. I'm an outstanding mother to my son. I would not do that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, girl, first of all, you're in your 40s. You're not in school anymore, so it doesn't really matter if you're a straight A student. Sorry. I mean, maybe she's in college, but she's not. She's an outstanding mother to her son. I don't want to judge. I think... But I don't know. I mean, okay, I won't take that from her, I guess. I don't know what she's getting at, really. You know what's funny is, like, during these interrogation videos, it's like, I'm a straight A student, whatever. It's like, oh, then the interrogators would be like, oh, my bad, you're a straight A student? I didn't know. Okay, you could go home. You didn't do it. We got the wrong guy. My bad.
So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
You guys are scaring me. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take. Do I have to watch this?
You can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Well, that's what you did.
But not intentional.
Why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
I don't know what you...
I love that she says, like, it wasn't intentional, though. Okay, again. Oh, okay, you could go home, ma'am. Sorry. Straight A student and it wasn't intentional? Okay, you win.
It's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you.
It's not malicious.
Nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging. You remember making that video?
Oh,
Why don't you remember making the video?
probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional. You guys are killing me right now. And I will tell you both this right now, too. I will never drink alcohol again.
You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
Thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't.
I get it. Look, I get it. That looks really bad.
That was really bad. It's not funny. It's just her response, man. This has been my struggle with her, is like her reasoning for everything. It's like everyone else's fault except for hers.
So, you're not free to go.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally.
Really.
So, she didn't do it intentionally, is her defense. Okay. All right. I didn't intentionally mean to eat a whole freaking Domino's pizza by myself, but sometimes we do things and you have to take responsibility for it, you know? Fair comparison, I think. She's denying, right? Well, meanwhile, George's body was taken for an autopsy. Now there, it was determined that it was like so much more than just being locked in a freaking suitcase. There was something else going on because he had nail scratches on his mid-upper back. He had a large nail scratch on the back of his neck. He had bruises on his left shoulder and his left skull. George also had bruises on his forehead that were consistent with like blunt force trauma. And on top of that, his lip was like busted open. So what? How did that happen if you're just playing hide and seek? Like, none of it is just making sense. Once investigators had the medical examiner's report, it just really destroyed Sarah's version of that night. Not that she even had a strong one, but yeah. I mean, George just didn't die from like being inside the suitcase. He had blunt force trauma to his skull. He had cuts and bruises on his body, and he had injuries consistent with someone like fighting for their life. So, when Sarah was confronted with all of this and like she couldn't run away from it anymore, then her tune changed. Well, she changed her tune. That's the phrasing, right? She changed her tune and she said it was the alcohol's fault. She said, we were drinking a lot. I wasn't thinking clearly. Babe, you filmed it though. Sorry, girl, you're not getting out of it. Well, on February 25th, 2020, Sarah was arrested for second-degree murder. And this, my friends, is where Sarah's case turned into an absolute circus. Because you'd think it would be just like open and shut, like the suitcase. But it's not. It's like there's so many layers to this freaking story. Oh my gosh. She stressed me out. I think I got an ulcer because of this. Okay, Sarah ended up going through 9 attorneys before trial. 9. Some quit, some were fired. One only lasted like 16 days before he like yeeted himself out of there. Yeet? Did I use that correctly? Yeeted? Yeeting? Yeet? He yeeted himself out of there. So let me give you kind of a simple rundown of what happened. So in the beginning, the court likely determined that Sarah was indignant. I know. I was like, what does that mean? Ooh, it sounds mean. It sounded like a diss. They were like, she's indignant. And I was like, ooh, mean. But when the court determines that you're indignant, it means that she, in her case, was lacking the financial resources to hire private legal counsel. So when you are determined indignant, it means you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Her first court-appointed attorney was a woman, Letitia, I think was her name, but Sarah wanted to go in a different direction. So she hired a bigwig lawyer, Mauricio Padilla. Side note, When the court determines that you are indignant defendants may have certain court costs, filing fees, and other legal expenses waived or reduced, plus other things. So that's how she was able to get this next guy, this bigwig lawyer guy, Mauricio. Now, this Mauricio guy, he defended some high-profile murder cases. For example, one of them was Dedrick Williams. He was the guy accused of killing rapper XXXTentacion. Is that how you say it? He killed him in 2018. I apologize if I'm butchering everyone's name. So I guess Sarah was a fan. So she's like, I want that guy. But she didn't do great research because Mauricio, the guy, he didn't win that case. Dedrick was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. But Sarah was like, I want that guy. I want that guy. And she got him. So after hiring this new lawyer, Sarah pleaded not guilty and requested to have a jury trial. Now, the trial was originally set for July 27th, 2020. But like clockwork, when it comes to her, things started to just go off the rails. Sarah's defense had asked for more time, so the trial ended up getting pushed back to November. Then came another delay, another one, another. Next thing you know, Sarah's trial had been pushed back nearly 2 years. Then, out of nowhere, Mauricio, the big shot lawyer, he filed a motion to withdraw from the case. Yes. Mauricio was like, I can't take this anymore. Mauricio cited irreconcilable differences. Later, he said that the two were just arguing nonstop. So this guy was like, I'm out, okay? So, lawyer gone. Sarah decided she was a little irritated. So she wrote a letter to the judge. Or to the courts, really to anyone who would listen. She got pen to paper and she wrote aggressively. And in these letters, she claimed she had been left in the dark about everything. She was getting no updates. She said that Mauricio had betrayed her. I'm spitting everywhere, sorry. And that she had no clue why he just upped and left her, leaving her just in the dark, completely blindsided, just So the court appointed her another public defender, okay? This lawyer had lasted less than a month before withdrawing because, plot twist, they actually represented George in Sarah and George's 2018 domestic violence case. So it was a conflict of interest, and this guy was like, I'm out. Next. I thought Florida was big, but she just kept running into issues. So the court assigned her another lawyer who turned out had represented one of the key witnesses in another one of Sarah's cases. I didn't want to go too much into detail about this case because remember in the beginning when I mentioned she needed a place to live because she had a legal battle going on? It was this. It had to do with I think she was being a squatter or something. I don't know. I didn't check too much into it. Anyways, so this person was like, I can't do it. Then came lawyer number 5, Mark Consolo. And just 2 weeks after filing Sarah's plea, Mark quit. Yeah. According to court documents, Sarah wanted all of their time, calling up to 10 times a day. There were disagreements on the legal strategy, what they can and cannot do in court. There was a lack of resources. This is all according to this lawyer guy. He said that she was being unreasonable. She took non-viable legal positions. I was like, what does that mean? So I looked it up. Taking non-viable legal positions means making arguments or pursuing legal strategies that have little to no chance of success due to lack of legal merit, factual support, or precedent. That's the definition. Thank you. Okay, so Sarah's in jail. She's waiting, right? So she's getting mad because these lawyers, these court appointed attorneys and all that stuff, they are just not giving her all the attention she wanted. You see, what was really happening was when all this was going down, a lot of the news, the media picked up the story and were putting out these wild stories about Sarah, about what happened. Right? And everyone was talking about it at this time. Sarah at the time was in jail waiting for something to happen, and she was seeing all these media reports happening, and she was upset that the courts weren't moving as fast as media was. She really badly wanted to get it out there that she was innocent and people needed to hear her side of the story because like in her mind, she had a strong side of her story. She was just getting irritated with that is what I was researching. She didn't realize that the court system is very, very slow and it was not going to move as fast as a YouTube video, you know? So she gets this new attorney guy and she's getting really, really upset because she's like, I'm barely hearing from this guy Frank. So she was sending letters to Sarah. She's sending letters to Frank, the attorney guy. She's sending letters to the judge and the courts asking like, what is going on? I haven't heard from my lawyer in 11 weeks. You know, what's going on with my case? She wrote, how many more pens will I exhaust asking? She loved writing a letter. She kept writing and writing and writing. So she's writing and writing and writing and writing. She even threatened in the letter that she was going to call the governor. Like she was making these threats that just, there was so many letters. I read so many letters. She has great handwriting, mind you. Very millennial, bubbly. But she's coming off a little crazy girl. Girl, this isn't looking good for your case. She wouldn't stop. She was convinced her constitutional rights were being violated. I know. I was like, what rights, girl? Because you kind of murdered someone and then like you filmed it. So like, what? And you can't find a clear answer from her. But okay. So she's writing all these letters. She's not getting anywhere. So then she starts directing letters straight to the press, to the media. She's hoping that they'll expose the quote unquote incompetence of her legal team. She ended one of these letters with quote, please do not discredit my truth. I am who, not what. Respectful and diligent, Sarah Boone. Like, girl, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? If only she cared this much about, like, her son and stuff, huh? So Sarah's not getting anywhere, even with all these letters, and she's just getting more and more frustrating. So, you know what she does? You'll never guess what she does. She hires a private investigator. And I was like, okay, well, maybe she wants this private investigator to, like, help her with her case because she's not getting it from her attorney or whatever. No, that is not why she wanted a private She hired a private investigator to track down her lawyer. Yeah, not like to help her with finding justice and proving her innocence or anything like that. No. To find her lawyer. That was the last straw for lawyer number 6, was the whole private investigator situation. So this guy, Frank, he filed a motion to withdraw. And in it, he said, this woman will never be happy with a lawyer unless that lawyer has no other cases. The judge at this point finally had enough, okay? Mind you, this was like months and months of back and forth. I'm giving you the very condensed version. But the judge was like, look, enough is enough. He ruled that Sarah had forfeited her right to counsel. So it was like, hey, no more lawyers for you. Nay. And she would have to represent herself. To be fair, the court told Sarah multiple times, you do not want to represent yourself, okay? They're like, you need to find a lawyer. You need to stick with it because you do not want to represent yourself. And they told her this numerous times. They're like, it's not easy. You don't want this. But she's Sarah Boone, and she was on one, you know? She was on her Sarah Boone high. So after she fires this last guy, the judge is like, look, you're on your own. Fine. You're going to get what you want. You do it. So she takes a shot. She's going to try and represent herself. And she realizes as time is going on, it's actually a lot harder than she thought. And that kind of says a lot. Well, not really, but yeah, it kind of does, because she had all the time in the world to sit around and like research court lingos and how to represent yourself. Not that she should have, but it's like, what else is she doing? You know, she's not busy is what I'm getting at. So yeah, girl, represent yourself. Take a shot. See how it goes. Well, she does. She tries to, but she realizes again, like, how hard it is. So she goes back to the court and she begs the judge on her case to get another lawyer. And the judge is like, hell, like, I literally told you it was hard. Like, no. And I love that someone said no to her. Well, Sarah was not happy with this. She felt like she was being treated unfairly. So she decided to take matters into her own hands, as if that's not what she was doing. But she decided to try a new tactic. How about that? She created a flyer advertising for a lawyer to take on her case. And I was like, this has got to be fake. So I looked it up. not fake. The flyer read, "Epic opportunity awaits." Again, she's got that bubbly, millennial, chaotic writing. The flyer is a little busy. It's a lot, but good for her. She put in the work. So she puts this flyer out there. And guess what? It worked. God, I know. Girl, you killed someone. Just own up to it, girl. You know? Own up to it. She got a lawyer named James Owens. And he sees the flyer and he's like, oh my God, this is my calling. So he steps up and he turns out to be Sarah's 9th attorney. Well, 10th, if you count Sarah herself, but whatever. By this point, it had been 5 years since her arrest, and the judge was over the delays. Her trial was set for October 7th, 2024, and there was no pushing back. This was it. They were not taking her shit anymore. So the trial was set, but then it was briefly delayed. Not because of Sarah this time, but because of Hurricane Milton. So it's hurricanes rolling in. And again, this case has been going on so long. And at the end of the day, it's pretty open and shut. Like, girl, you don't have a chance. Like, right? Right? So the prosecution had came to Sarah and they offered her a plea deal. And I was like, oh, what? So with this plea deal, it would reduce her potential sentence to 15 years if she pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Now, this was probably her best bet, okay? Like, a plea deal, babe, take it, run. Not that I want her to, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, take it. You did it, okay? But Sarah, she's unique, you know? She rejected the plea deal. Insane move that I was like, what? Trust me, she was heavily advised to take the plea deal, but she's on one. I don't know. Well, her trial started towards the end of October. So her attorney, the guy who responded to her flyer, when's the Lifetime movie is what I'm wondering, huh? But her attorney, the flyer guy, he actually called forward like several witnesses, including psychologists. Now, the psychologists were going to lay the groundwork for battered woman syndrome, which was going to be Sarah's defense. Now, let me give you a rundown of what battered woman syndrome is, because, yeah, it's important. Okay, great. Really. Some days I just can think clearly, and then some days I can't. Today I'm like, Sarah Boone. So battered woman syndrome, or BWS, is a psychological condition that can be used as a legal defense in cases where a woman accused of a crime, usually against her abuser, has suffered prolonged domestic violence. So example, suppose a battered woman kills or harms her abuser. In that case, battered woman syndrome can support the argument that she reasonably believed she was in imminent danger, even if the threat wasn't immediate at that moment. Got it? So during her initial interrogation, Sarah described George as abusive. She told the police that she had documented his violent behavior with photos and videos of her injuries. She mentioned how she kicked him out multiple times, but always took him back. And to be fair, if they looked up the the police records, they would see like they had been out to her house for domestic violence calls and all that stuff. So yeah, yes. Okay. You know, so that's what she initially said in the interrogation. But then I watched the court trial, and this is where I personally was confused. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. In court, Sarah took the stand and portrayed their relationship as loving but complicated. She said that she was helping him get his life together. She was even considering marrying him. During the questioning, she focused, like whenever she was asked like about a timeline or anything, like she would focus more on George's struggles, like with alcohol and him not being able to hold down a job. And it was like, okay, girl, but why did you put him in the suitcase? You know, like Sarah said that evening, again, they ran out of things to do, which led to hide and seek. But on the stand, she never gave a clear explanation for how George ended up in the suitcase. She maintained that it was a joke gone wrong, and that was really it. Like, That was it. She never gave a clear understanding, like, what happened that night at all. I also just want to make it clear, just in case, we're all adults here, but I believe her that, like, she said that he was aggressive towards her and stuff. But if you watch her in court and whatnot, it's like both sides were they were both very toxic to each other. There was this one video that they played in court, which was like freaking awful, because of course they showed the videos that she took the night of his death. But then they showed other videos that they found on her phone, and they were awful. There was one video specifically where George is obviously like drunk or something, and she is filming him on her phone, and she's just yelling at him like what a piece of shit he is, what a loser he is, he needs to get out of her house. And I think she was filming because she thought, like, I'm gonna show this to the cops and like make you look bad, but really made her look bad because she was so mean to him, just verbally abusive towards him in this one little video. I say it like that because, like, we don't really know behind the scenes what was going on, but she was mean. She was a very mean, toxic, verbally abusive towards him based off of the things I saw or they showed in court. I don't know, because, like, one of the big things with the Sarah Boone case is, like, was she abused? And if she was abused, then, I don't know, it just adds, like, a different layer to the story, right? That's where it does get complicated. I just don't want to just sound like I'm coming off as, like, I don't believe women. Fuck, you know, I'm not coming off like that. Okay. Anyway, so it was clear that they did not have a good relationship and that she was very, very toxic to him. That is what was very clear. So in court, they asked her on the stand, like, so how did he get all of his injuries? Because remember, he had scratches. He had head trauma. Like, how did he get all that? First, she blamed, saying it was from rough sex, okay? And then on the stand, she just really gave some kind of word salad answer. She said a lot of words, no meaning, just a lot of words in a sentence. So again, she kind of pivoted towards his drinking habits and how he struggled emotionally. And then Sarah acknowledged that she did indeed record the videos on her phone. But, I mean, she like downplayed the whole thing, right? Again, over and over again. It was just a joke. Like, I never intentionally meant to like kill him or anything like that. She was just saying words in hopes that something made sense and would click for like a jury member. I don't know what her goal was, why she had to prolong this so long. She came with like no solid evidence to prove much of anything other than she did it. Like, you would think, I thought, with all this extra time, like she would build a strong case, gather all the evidence. Like, she said that she had tons of photos and videos of, you know, the relationship with George and how he was abusive towards her. And she just didn't come with like the evidence. There you go. She did, but like she didn't. It was a mess. So the prosecution presented 14 witnesses, but the most damning piece of evidence, the friggin' video footage of George trapped inside the suitcase. I mean, to the jury, it was clear. It was very clear what they were looking at. George was zipped in a suitcase, and like Sarah was there recording it. It made it really hard to argue that Sarah was acting out in self-defense. It was clear that this was not the case. Also, throughout the video, her taunting him while he was suffocating showed to the jury malicious intent. I should say to the prosecution, not the jury yet. So remember how George had like the head trauma and the scratches and all that stuff? There was never really a clear answer where that came from. His scratches, his marks and all that stuff. But the prosecution, they threw out a theory as to what they believed happened. They believed that Sarah had took a baseball bat that she had, you know, in the house. And while he was trapped inside of the suitcase, she was hitting him in the suitcase. There's no visual proof of this bat being used, but they were basing this off of the audio evidence because you know how she was recording the videos and whatnot. So there was that like 11-minute gap in between the two videos. They believe in that 11-minute gap, she flipped over the suitcase, she grabbed a bat, she like shoved the bat into the suitcase. Remember how he could stick two fingers out? They believe she shoved the bat in there and was like attacking him with it. And then she went back and she filmed the second video. That was their theory. Again, no visual proof, no proof that the bat was used, but they believe that's what she did. And she never gave a clear answer other than we had rough sex. I was like, okay, girl. So the prosecution argued that Sarah's videos showed cruelty, and I think it's very clear, and that being drunk is not a defense for murder. Sorry. They claimed that Sarah was not acting in self-defense. Instead, she was angry and vindictive, which I think we can all agree on. So when the trial was all done, the jury went back. They only deliberated for like less than 2 hours. And when they came back, Sarah Boone was found guilty of second-degree murder. She's lucky she got second degree, huh? So the sentencing. Finally, the sentencing. George's family had waited forever for this. I mean, can you imagine letting this psycho queen just completely dismiss killing your family member and her just being fucking wild and then dragging his name, saying that he was abusing her and trying to make him look crazy when she was just as crazy. So after her sentencing hearing, George's mother, poor thing, she cried in the courtroom, and bless her soul, because she said that she did not hate Sarah. She didn't hate her. Yeah, it was sweet. It was just about like forgiveness. But, she's really sad and her son died. But George's sister, she got up there, and good for her. She told the court that Sarah deserved to rot in prison. Period. She did not hold back. A prison chaplain spoke on Sarah's behalf, saying that she had become very spiritual since she was in jail. Her cellmate even called Sarah her best friend. But none of those things could change the judge's decision. So the judge determined that Sarah Boone would be sentenced to life in prison. Should have took that 15 years, huh, girl? Yeah, stupid ass. Not that she should have, but she's an idiot. I'm tired of her. I'm so tired of her. So tired of her. So tired of her. But there's more. Because after the verdict, Sarah made a statement. Of course she did. So she made a statement saying that she forgave the Torres family for turning a blind eye to her abuse. Then she asked the entire planet for forgiveness. She's like, yeah, therefore it counts because I asked. And you'd think that'd be the end of Sarah. No. She got back to her pen and paper and started writing letters again. After she was sentenced, she sent the judge a 28-page letter. This was recently. I read this and I was like, why am I reading this? I don't know. Why am I here? How did I get here? In this letter, she criticized the judge, calling him ignorant. Then, in a twist, she said that she actually forgave him, the judge. She also wrote that she was excited about her appeal and then ended the letter with a Bible verse. Yeah. She also quoted Cicero, I believe. Her lawyer, James Owens, filed a motion outlining all the alleged misconduct in her case to set up an appeal. As of right now, the time of me recording this, no appeal has actually been filed. Just her sending letters. I'm sure there'll be more letters. Let me get on this lip. Hold on one second. So yes, that is Sarah Boone. God, she's exhausting. She had an answer for everything except for like what she did. Do you know what I'm saying? She just could not take responsibility for any of her actions. And that's concerning. Side note, this has nothing to do with anything, but like I hate my hair. I'm going through a thing where I just hate my hair. And I want change so bad. I wanted to go like blonde, but I know you guys will kill me if I go blonde. Plus it's not realistic. It's not realistic, Bailey. I know, but I want to. But you can't. I know, but I'm bored. And when like the one thing you want is change as a woman, you're like, I need change. And what's the easiest thing to change? Your hair, right? Am I right, ladies? Am I right? So that's where I'm at right now. But like, there's just, I don't know what to do. I'm bored of my look, you guys. Bored. So, yeah, I was thinking, because I watched all the footage of her and stuff, and like, she's just so out there and so off her rocker. Man, it's just, she's stressful. At the end of the day, she killed someone. Okay, period. They were in a toxic, alcohol-filled, abusive relationship, the two of them. There were other videos of Sarah taunting George. Again, it was awful. So here's what I was thinking. I was like, look, I think she purposely left him in the suitcase that night to, quote unquote, teach him a lesson. This is my thought. In her sick mind, leaving him there all night in the luggage, zipped up, was payback. And she even said this in the videos. She said in the videos that she's recording, like, this is what you get. This is what you get. She's telling everyone why she did it. Because people kept asking, why? She told you why. She told you why in the videos. I think she locked him in there. Obviously, they're drunk and, like, out of their minds. But she locked him in the little suitcase thing, and I think she walked her butt upstairs, went to bed, not realizing he was going to die. Because in her mind, she left a hole open in the suitcase so he could stick 2 fingers out. So in her mind, she's like, that means he can breathe. He's fine. Yeah, I mean, just based off of all the interviews and stuff I watched, 100% in my mind, that makes sense. That's exactly what she was thinking. And it's like, why a suitcase and all that? Because this is Florida. Do you know trash? I know trashy people. I lived next to Hemet. And if you're from Southern California deep cut. Anyways, but I've seen people like this who are just like stupid, drunk. Like, it doesn't make sense, but she's a bitch. She's a bitch. I'm sorry. You need to be locked up, girl. I don't even know why I'm saying sorry. One thing, too, that stuck out to me that I didn't really know, like, if it was anything, but whatever. She kept claiming over and over again during the interrogation that, you know, she was so drunk she couldn't remember anything. And then she would give these super detailed descriptions about what the luggage looked like. Specifically, like, she remembered that the luggage had broken pieces to it. She remembered that, like, on the luggage the zipper itself was broken, so she had to put like a paper clip in the zipper because it was broken so she could close it, but she couldn't remember anything else. And I was like, oh, that's, girl, at the end of the day, she's a very toxic person and she killed someone, you know. I skimmed some of the letters that she sent out there. A lot of them, again, her specialty, word salad to the max. She says a bunch of words, a whole lot of nothing. She quotes Cicero in the letter. She quotes the Bible. You name it, she quotes them. But the last letter that she wrote was all about forgiveness. So in this letter, she wrote out detailed descriptions about all the people that she forgave, all of the people that had done her wrong, listing them out one by one. She's like, the judge, I forgive you for giving me life. The media, I forgive you for making me the bad person. George's family, I forgive you for not knowing that he was abusing me. She goes on and on and on and on. But the one person she forgot to forgive, herself. She didn't once acknowledge anything about herself. Before she can get to the point of forgiving herself, she needs to acknowledge and accept her actions. She did wrong, you know? She points the finger at everybody else, everyone else's fault. She should have taken the plea deal. She's an idiot. I feel bad for her kid. I feel bad for George's family. It's all around just a shit show. And that, my friends, is Sarah Boone. Thank God that she got arrested and caught and all that stuff, because who knows what she would have been up to. I mean, I think eventually she would have. She did. Well, one thing I know for sure, one thing we know for sure, is that Sarah Boone will be spending the rest of her life behind bars. If there's anything you should learn, don't get into luggage. Don't get into luggage. It's not funny and you can die. Honestly, because, like, I know this might be stupid. Sorry. I didn't know you could die if you, like, were hiding in luggage like that. I know that sounds stupid, but I was really looking into this because he died from, like, suffocation and whatnot. And he also had the head trauma. And I was like, how though, if he had a whole, how? Well, there's different types of asphyxiation, which I was learning about. And like for him, there's a type, like if you're squished in a certain position, it can slow your breathing and then you're not going to get any air and you kind of like slowly die. And that's what happened to him. It was like how he was kind of like in there like a baby in a way. And it was like not allowing his lungs to expand so he could breathe in there. And that's how he died. So if there's anything you learn about this story, it's like, don't hide in like luggage or think it's funny. Because I could see people doing this for some reason. No? Okay, I don't know. So don't do that. Also, don't murder people. I think that is definitely the moral of the story here, Bailey. Anyways, I always struggle at the end because I don't know. Now what, Now what? Write her a letter? No. Maybe. I'll write her a letter and be like, fuck you, bitch. You're trash. Okay, thank you guys for recommending this one. This one was for you because you guys have been recommending Sarah Boone since 2020. So let me know who you want me to talk about next time. Do you like the makeup look? So do I. I love it. It's pretty. I feel like a candy apple. I'm a candy apple. I'm a candy apple. I hope you have a good rest of your day. You make good choices. Be safe out there. Don't be dumb. Don't be drinking those huge ass bottles of wine. I know. I'm no fun. But like, come on, you don't need that. And yeah, other than that, have a good day. Make good choices. And I'm going to see you guys next time, yeah? This time, next time? I'm going to see you there? Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Make good choices. Bye.